So the next step for the Galaxie is to install these air shocks. Again, I bought these from Bud's Classic. I know he said he got these modified to fit the Galaxie. They're special order. So I don't know if anybody else makes them exactly the same or not. Came with bushings, the install kit with all the hoses. So hopefully that's not too bad. It comes with the nuts and the bushings for the top. Came with the bushings on the bottom. It doesn't come with lower bolts. So I'll probably have to go buy a set of those. Other than that, looks pretty complete. Good news is I had actually left the old shocks on. I didn't think I had, but it turns out I had. When I took the old bolt off, I was surprised to see this collar in there. It's a wide collar. I thought maybe somebody put it in as a spacer, and then there's the bolt here. Turns out that is actually supposed to be the strangest design I've ever seen. I'm just going to show you quickly, and then I'll proceed with the installation of the shocks. Alright, so if you look at the hole, the back hole is large, and that sleeve goes in there. The back side, basically normal size, where the bolt goes through. So, good thing I hadn't thrown those away, because that would have been a bit of a challenge going forward. Okay, I've installed the air shocks. Put the piece here, the fitting, the Schrader valve. I've got a washer here added. I had to make the hole a little bigger because the frame sits right around here, so I could fit it in, but I didn't have enough room to thread the fitting in on the bottom. There's actually an existing, two of the holes here were existing, so I had to just drill one hole for the clips for the underneath. And I'm just going to go show you underneath and show you what I have to do. So you can see how I ran it. See how tight it was against there. I'm going to put a little bit of silicone in there, black, and clean that up. Ran it there. And then I ran it up here. Tied it into where the fuel line is here to keep it away from there. I unfortunately had to run the air lines to the front because this fitting either goes to the front or the back. Going to the back went right into the exhaust, and I looked at it and I thought, well, it's probably the only good place for the exhaust, so ran it to the front. I ran the line from the passenger side over there. I ran it up through here. That's basically going to be protected over to here, and then teed over and then ran here. So pretty happy with that. I'm going to test it. I set my regulator to 50 pounds. I can't put more than 50 pounds into it. See what I get. After checking all the fittings, I really couldn't find any leaks. It is difficult to tell based on the way the fittings are set up, but I didn't see anything. One thing I have noticed though is this Schrader valve. It is kind of sticky, and when I say sticky, I mean you put air in it, and sometimes when you let go of the chuck, it leaks out there and you have to tap it. So this could be the culprit. Like I said, it's not leaking a lot. So I've got my gauge here, so I'm going to retest it over the next few days and just check to see if there's any leaks now that I've done all the fitting checks. I will say the right shock, that was the first fitting I did have probably the loosest connection of them all, so I had to tighten it right away just to make sure, but the rest seemed to be pretty tight. So so far so good, but hoping it is like this. And again, what else am I doing on the car? Well, I am starting to do what I'm going to call the final sand here on it before I paint the roof. So start on the trunk, have a couple little spots I'm going to have to touch up with some epoxy, and then I'm going to once I've got the whole body sanded, finish the roof, and then I'm going to get ready to paint it in Wimbledon white. If people are wondering, I don't know if I've explained this very well, but when I bought this car,
it reminded me of, you know, when we were young with my dad and everything. And he's long gone, but still brings the memories. But one of the things I always liked the car, wanted the car, and I'm trying to do this as a day 3 car. So the day 3 car is going to have basically about 15-inch wheels like this, because, you know, day 3 was, you know, I was late 70s, early 80s when my dad had the car. And what would a kid, 18, 19, 20 to 25-year-old kid done with a 64 Galaxie? It's not a Mustang, so, you know, Mustang Camaro, you would have done a day 2, which is kind of cool, headers, dual exhaust, all that good stuff, and then wheels and tires. I'm trying to do what a kid would do the decade later or 15 years later, when this was just a used car that you got either given to you by your parents or it was within your price range. So disc brakes in the front, because, you know, that was something you could do back in the late 70s, early 80s. You'd buy something from either Granada, LTD, that kind of thing. So disc brakes back then, and I haven't decided yet on shackles or traction bars. I might put those in. Air shocks to lift the back end, because these were notoriously low right off the bat. This is at 50 psi. I think it's up from what it was originally. I'm not trying to make it really much higher because it actually sat really well. It's just it was a little softer than I liked. And then just get popped up the engine a little bit, but again, keeping it carbureted, trying to do that day 3 look. I might put fuel injection in it later, but if I do, it'll be the carb style. And you know, what would you do back then? Again, keeping it the body reasonably stock, but maybe doing a color change if you had the money. But I'm going with the color that I like. That's it in the summary. So hopefully, like I said, by fall I've got this painted and I'm starting to work on the trim.